Corn School is brought to you by BASF and Pride Seeds.
Peter Johnson here, realagriculture.com, at Wheat Pete, and I'm in the cornfield with our new provincial corn lead, Ben Rosser. Ben knows a lot about corn. Ben's going to solve some issues. You know, we've done research on nitrogen for as long as I've been involved with agriculture. That's over 30 years now, and they've studied it long before that, and we still, after 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we don't understand how it works. The best quote I ever heard was from a soils researcher out of Indiana. He said, doing research on nitrogen is like counting a stampede of wild horses after dark. Man, so Ben, how are you going to solve that problem for the Ontario corn farmer?
Thanks, Peter. So we have a project on this year where we're trying to look at nitrate levels, background levels in the soil over the course of the spring at several locations. So about 20 trials across the whole province this year.
Cool. And so what are you going to do in terms of that project? You're going to look at soil nitrate. We used to do a provincial survey. You're not doing that anymore?
That's right. So it's changed a little bit. In the past, we would do the survey over a couple days in the spring, typical PSNT timing, second week of June. Go in across 100 fields across the province and look at levels. There's always some questions, you know, if you get rainfall afterwards, how do those levels change? What does that one snapshot really mean? So in order to try to answer that, we've selected 20 sites we know a fair bit about. We know the crop history. And then instead of coming in at once in the second week of June, we're going to come in about 5 times. So we've already done one sample timing for background early season nitrates around planting timing, May 1st. This is our first time frame for the PSNT timing. So right now we're the 24th of May. And we'll also do another 3 samples after this, about 2 weeks apart, until about the end of June.
Okay. So you're trying to track that through the season to see how that works out.
That's right. So the idea of this project was, instead of a single snapshot of PSNT timing, we want to see, you know, how do those nitrates start to increase over the course of the June time frame.
So Ben, it's the spring of 2016. I'm really wondering what to do with nitrogen. I'm a wheat guy. I've seen all sorts of sulfur deficiency in my wheat crop, which makes me wonder about release and all those things. What's your best advice given this year? Where are you thinking with nitrogen?
Sure. So, you know, April's been a fair bit cooler than maybe we'd normally experience, and the nitrogen release in the soil is dependent on temperatures for the microbes to break down that organic matter to release the nitrogen. So because that's temperature oriented, maybe there's been less release at this point in time because it's been a cooler April than what we would expect in a normal year. But we don't know that until we actually go out and sample and see what's in the fields right now.
Right. So once that starts, that nitrogen release process starts, will it catch up? Right? So it's been a cool April, but now once the microbes go, they'll catch up. It's kind of like I start the race walking, but I finish running like crazy because I got lots of energy. Can I catch up with that, or where are we at?
So chances are there's maybe been a delay in that release because it's taken a while for things to warm up. And earlier on, when the corn crop starts to take on nitrogen, you know, maybe that supply of nitrogen isn't there that you would expect in a more average year.
Yeah, so we don't really catch up is what you're telling me. Like, it's kind of, we get that release, but even though we get the release, if it doesn't start till the 1st of June, we lose the release in May, we'll never really regain that. That's a bit of a concern.
That's right. Typically, if there's lower soil nitrates at PSNT timing, recommendations would suggest more nitrogen in those cases.
So it's quite clear we have to nitrate sample in order to know how much nitrogen to apply. And there's some cool new technology, right? The Soil Scan 360. And so that's tailgate technology. That's awesome. One of our little concerns that you're going to do a project on as well is to make sure that tailgate technology is accurate compared to the lab, the wet technology that we've always used, right? And so there's a little bit of data out there that we're not quite sure. So Ben, some of the initial results I saw showed the Soil Scan 360 at 3 parts per million, and the lab test came back at 15 parts per million. Not exactly where we'd like to be. How much difference in nitrogen rate would that actually be out in the field?
Right, Peter. So with our revised PSNT recommendations, a difference going from 3 to 15 ppm could result in a recommendation from 200 pounds of nitrogen for 3 ppm to as little as 140 pounds of nitrogen for the 15 ppm sample.
Yeah, so a 60-pound difference. So I really think it speaks to use the technology, but gosh, we want to make sure that technology is calibrated to Ontario conditions, right?
That's right.
Yep, absolutely. Way cool. All right, from realagriculture.com, this is Wheat Pete with Ben Rosser, our new corn guy. Hopefully he's around here a lot and going to teach us how to farm better.